It's not just Houston we have a problem. It's USA. Hello, we have a big fucking problem. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I'm John, the host. Not Jimmy, not Roger, not Ooman, not Vaughn. It's John. I'm back in the house, folks, and the Biden administration is doing what? They're going full steam ahead, folks. I've told you, SHTF, they're not done. They're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. It is nothing but attack, attack, attack. What are they doing now? The Biden administration is considering a 7-day home quarantine when Americans come home from other countries. And you're like, yeah, you just take a test. No, that test may get you on the plane, but it doesn't matter whether or not you've had a negative test or if you even had the Jim Jones juice. That's right. You can have the Jim Jones juice, come back to your country, and the government's going to say, go to your room for 7 days. Where do they get that authority, folks? I don't remember anything about that being in the Constitution. Especially when you, I guess, if you are one of the people that have got the Jim Jones juice, you're fully juicinated. Isn't that supposed to be the protectant, the thing? Well, the way I'm looking at this, folks, it's one, tests don't help, tests don't prove anything. Apparently not. Why even have them? Great question. We got a problem, folks. I thought the tests proved the existence, that cerveza bug is real. And now I guess the test doesn't prove that? Or is it that the unicorn, that's right, the unicorn virus is so tricky it can appear and disappear like a leprechaun or a unicorn, right? The unicorn variant can fool the test because it's that evil. That's right, folks. Unicorns out there everywhere are now going to be called evil. It's comical, and it's also atrociously despotic. It is evil, folks. All right. What this is it's further conditioning for the people of America and the world, further conditioning to being locked up on a medical tyrant's orders. And just in time for the Christmas season, right? Science not included in this package. That's right, folks. It's fear, fear, and more fear. Now, having said that, unbelievable what they're doing. You see, they're violating your rights. They're trying to violate all of our rights. They're trying to say you don't have any rights. And in the military, it's even worse, folks. They don't have the authority to do what they're doing, but they will use their mandates to scare people into compliance. It's all about fear. 1 second. That was a unicorn sneeze. All right. The Secretary of Defense, the scumbag Lloyd Austin, he sends out a memo to all members of the military, all members of the armed forces under the Department of Defense authority. See, when you hear the DOD, you normally think authority, right? They're the Department of Defense. They have authority to deal with matters of national security, right? National defense. Those days are long gone when we look to the government as some sort of authority, whether you're talking about the DOD or whether you're talking about DC or whether you're talking about your state government. Those days where we said, yeah, we trust them, those days of recognizing them as an authority are over, because all they do is lie to us. Now, back to what the DOD is doing, folks. We have a big problem. Right? The White House Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, is telling federal agencies, apparently behind the scenes, to stop. We heard about this. Stop suspending or firing people until after the holidays. Remember that thing came out? Well, apparently the Secretary of Defense and Lloyd Austin decided to say, well, except in the military, right, where they demand full juicination of all members of the armed forces. This includes members under the DoD authority on active duty, ready reserve, including the National Guard. Yep, you bet, right? So a lieutenant colonel has written a letter, this time from the Air National Guard. And folks, this is important. They think that members of the military are stupid. This is what the government thinks of them. Well, the entire officer corps, while a lot of people say don't have a lot between the ears, they do have a college education, which means they've been taught how to read. At the very least, they can read. Doesn't mean they're better than anyone else, but they think no one in there can read. Anyways, this guy says, I'm currently serving Air National Guard member, lieutenant colonel, pilot with over 19 years in service. He talks about how he loves the country, loves the nation, loves serving, etc. But he says, I'm thoroughly convinced that the current DoD mandate is an unlawful order since the FDA licensed Comirnaty, that's the antiviral vaccination that is approved, the Comirnaty vaccine. He says what is available, though, to everyone is not that product. So he's saying Comirnaty is what they don't have. So he says the EUAs cannot be mandated without a presidential waiver, which they don't have, nor can it be justified, according to my reading. He says, per the 23 August FDA approval letter, it's legally distinct, the Comirnaty, from the other products that are out there, the other Jim Jones juice products. He says, our JAG, that is Judge Advocate General, our JAG even stated that there are two different licenses. Okay, so the legally recognized distinction between Comirnaty and the regular Jim Jones juice, it exists, but the Department of Defense is treating them as the same. Again, this is what the colonel is writing. He says, I do not think one has to be a legal scholar to figure out that it is indeed not the same. Okay, what we have here, folks, is just an incredible attempt to dupe, screw over our military. They're trying to scare people. They don't have the legal authority. That means any action taken by them, they can be ultimately sued for, even in the military. Even in the military, folks, you have rights. Under the Uniform Code of Military Justice, you have rights. You're still Americans. You still have rights. So the purpose of this, or shall I say, the stated purpose notwithstanding, what are the practical consequences of what they're doing with the Secretary of Defense, the military, the Pentagon? The practical consequences is everyone who gets the Jim Jones juice is now stuck with the Jim Jones juice. They've been herded into the sheep corral. That's one consequence. We're seeing, and folks, I'm getting some odd reports from around the country. I'm not prepared to share them yet, but our fears, I think, are beginning to play out as I'm hearing about more people expiring. But it's all anecdotal. I'm not a scientist, not even a scientician. Back to the DoD. They are weakening our existing military forces, and they are chasing away our patriotic members, our most patriotic members who believe their oath to the U.S. Constitution matters. Our most patriotic members who love this country. This guy, this lieutenant colonel, even referred to himself as a red-blooded American, right? I think that's code for I love our flag, our Constitution, our country, right? And the American dream, the real American dream, that is of being free, liberty. But they're chasing those people out. Those people typically are what? Libertarian, conservative, Republican types. They're chasing them out. They're depatriotizing our military. The new patriots, well, not only are they fully juicinated, they're also a bunch of, in my opinion, Marxists. Those who want to run in there and get all jacked up on the juice and obey every order Kind of like that little witch that said she's going to show up and knock on your door and she's going to give you an order. And if you don't follow it, bad things are going to happen to you. Remember that little witch, little staff sergeant? That's right. That's the attitude of the new military mindset that takes the juice and follows orders, like good little Gestapo, like good little SS. That's what they want in there. And they want them weak, and they want them effeminate, and they want them to just obey orders. In other words, they don't know how to read. They don't understand their rights. Right? The DOD doesn't have the authority to do what they're doing. It's already been tried in military court, not to mention the civilian courts where they say the government does not have the right to make these demands, to create these mandates. But they're not quitting, folks. They're not backing off. They're not going away. They're just going to put off their deadline. They're going to put off the deadline on the mandate because they can't legally do the mandate. But what they've gotten away with for a long time are these lockdowns. And my prediction is after Christmas, most of the country is going to go back under lockdown because the unicorn virus is so bad. So they're starting that scare tactic up and now, as stated at the very beginning. Right? They're now going to talk about mandatory quarantines for people returning. They're conditioning people to the fear. They're trying to make people afraid of something that doesn't seem to be a fear worthy, right? And it was brought to my attention that, we may as well have a series of names come out every day for all of the variants, or every year. Kind of like hurricanes, every year they come up with names for these series of hurricanes that come and threaten the United States coastlines. Hey, why not have that for the variants, huh? Which one is it this week? Unbelievable. It really is. It's unbelievable, folks. But believe it, because it is real. They're not going to quit. They're going to continue to harass and harm America, violate our rights. And I mean, what are they going to do? Are they ultimately going to be sued in court and they lose and they're like, oh, geez, sorry about that, America. Sorry about that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We destroyed your business. We destroyed your retirement. We destroyed your income. Sorry. Because, folks, those Davos types, the economic world leaders, in other words, the rich 1% out there that are fucking us all over, they're still saying that by 2030, you will own nothing and you'll be grateful. You'll be thankful for it. They're still going forward with their plan. They're still going forward with their plan. Have no fear. Or should I say, fear those who are evil, right? But don't be afraid to take action. The action I'm talking about is prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Self-defense includes defending yourself, your family, your city, your state, and your country. Get prepared, folks, and then prep to action. Write your congressman and go, what the fuck are you doing about this? Write your senator, what are you doing about this? Write your governor, what are you doing about this? Hell, write the president of the United States and go, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Let's go, Brandon. Do it. Take action on your behalf, right? As they march you to the cliff's edge, do you have to go quietly? You know you're going to end up there. You can at least object as you get closer. Right? Build your confidence in what you are doing as right. Build your confidence. But when you get to that cliff and they got you standing over it and they're about to push all of America over it, that's when we're going to have no choice but to turn around and then start fighting back. But between now and then, you should at least, at the very least, be exercising your First Amendment, your right to redress grievances. And this is a serious grievance, folks. Forcing people to do something against their will when there is no call for it. Quarantining people over nothing. Using propaganda to push people around, to destroy the country. And it's all being done by our own government in DC. America is a huge place, folks. It is 2,000 miles from sea to shining sea. 2,000 miles. And there's a little piece of dirt. It's like 5 miles by 5 miles. A little teeny piece, 5 miles by 5 miles, that is called Washington, D.C. And they're telling everyone else what to do. Why? How can such a little piece of dirt have so much authority over the rest of us? They really don't, and they never did, and it's all a big lie. It's a paper tiger. Oh, that'll send out the FBI, no doubt. There's not enough of them to get anything done. Should we, the people, change our minds and say, you know what? I think that which has been, shall we say, carelessly given, our trust, must be judiciously taken back. And I think that's the truth at this point now, folks. We need to judiciously examine what this government is doing and take that authority back from them. And that is why I am not in a blue state anymore, because I believe that day is coming. Right? We got great states like Texas, Florida, and everything in between. It's the South, folks. Freedom, though. It's not about being South. It's about being free. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. And I also want to do this. I also want to say thank you to John W. for sending a nice PayPal super chat donation to me. No email was included with that, so I couldn't send him a message. So thank you, John W., for that great donation. Keeps us here in the glorious, glamorous, ever so comfortable and snug Prepared Mind bunker. But folks, get prepared. That part is no joke. Houston, we have a problem. Are you prepared? Semper Fi means always faithful. It's not just for the Marines anymore, folks. It's for the entire nation. Be faithful to what you believe. Have the courage of your convictions. Godspeed to us all.